Hello, welcome to another Client Insights and Experience Share today. I'm Zamir Javer, CEO of Jumpfactor Marketing, and we have a special guest today, Casey Wolf from Caltech, which is now Integris. And she's here to share some of her insights from her perspective in terms of marketing at an MSP, and also a little bit of experience in terms of the work that was done with Jumpfactor in helping to generate lead flow and a website overhaul and rebrand initiative. So a little bit of a kind of background just to kind of share some context. Caltech is an established MSP. We actually recently spoke with the CEO, former CEO there, Will Welsh, and of course one of the team members is Casey here, and she's been involved in the financial institution division of Integris or Caltech. Which is focused on a very specific industry vertical from a managed IT perspective. Casey's been with Integris and Caltech for about 2 years, and has a variety of experience from a marketing perspective there. Welcome, Casey. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Zamir. I'm excited.
Excellent. Well, I'll have it handed over to you, maybe just to share a little bit about your role, kind of what areas you touch on, and from your perspective, what type of clients and prospects you guys target in the area that you focus on, perhaps.
Yep, absolutely. So, like you said, I've been with Caltech, which is now Integris, for about 2 years. I joined on initially in sales and then slowly started to migrate over to marketing, which there was another marketing manager at the time. But since then, I have become the marketing coordinator for our division. So that is basically taking over the day-to-day tasks, keeping the lights on for all things marketing, and working with our awesome vendors and partners that we have on our marketing side. So it's been a great ride so far.
Excellent. Well, thanks for the background there. And one of the things we'd love to hear a little bit again from your perspective, for being really in the details, working closely with our team. It would be great to gain some insight in terms of your experience, sort of, interacting with the team, collaborating. Maybe just to share a little bit of context for the audience here. So, Caltech engaged Jumpfactor for a inbound marketing program, which consisted of SEO, content, and the goal to drive increased traffic and leads that turn into revenue. Along the way, it was identified that one of the bottlenecks was the web design in terms of the ability for us to implement a lot of the optimizations, as well as it was bottlenecking a little bit from a conversion perspective. So the decision was made jointly to embark on a complete website overhaul, which Casey was largely involved with. And perhaps you can share a little bit about your experience kind of in that project itself, because I know that was a big part of the work that we sort of undertook.
Mm-hmm. So that was one of our biggest projects that we had with Jumpfactor, and it spanned a good period of time, but we got very in the weeds with each part, being very detailed in particular about certain things, and the team at Jumpfactor was great about all of those details and getting really into the nitty-gritty, especially being so niche with our industry. We really wanted to be able to tailor our website to iterate that. So working with Jumpfactor and our team, including Michelle, was great through the whole experience. They kind of took a lot of the things off our plate, which is great. We were able to go there for approvals, looking at everything and giving our insight, obviously, but a lot of the majority of the work was handled by Jumpfactor, and I greatly appreciated all of that.
Awesome. And you touched on a few things that I know a lot of people have questions about when they work with an agency partner, namely related to project management and the responsiveness of the team. Perhaps you can expand a little bit on that. How did you find sort of the cadence of interaction and the structure and sort of the overall responsiveness when you worked with the team at Jumpfactor for the, I guess, web dev project?
Mm-hmm. So working on through email and through the teamwork application that Jumpfactor uses, we were able to communicate back and forth with our account manager. We were mostly notified about new client tasks through email, which we could go onto the teamwork platform, check it off, give approvals very easily, and then work from there. And then we also had our biweekly meetings, which we were able to connect with our team.
Okay, great. And excellent. So it is multi-channel sort of communication there to make sure that nothing's slipping through, of course. And how did you find sort of the expertise and knowledge level? I understand, obviously, you engaged with a few different team members beyond just your account manager. But what can you share a little bit about the knowledge and expertise of the individuals?
So throughout working with Jumpfactor, I know we worked with yourself, Danny, on multiple occasions, and I was always really impressed with the level of expertise and knowledge that you guys brought to the table, especially when it came to breaking down the different terms into layman's terms so that all of our team members who were also included on the meetings were able to understand what was happening and why it was happening. So even being in that niche industry, I felt like you guys were very knowledgeable about talking about why we were doing this to target our bankers, why we were doing this to target this exact target market. So I always thought you guys were very knowledgeable, but able to break it down into terms where it was easy to understand and it was easy to follow why you guys were doing this and how it was going to help us in the long term.
Awesome. And of course now you I know we're have been quite involved in terms of the deliverables as well. And some of the it's obviously great to talk about the end outcome in terms of ROI, and we'll touch on that in a little bit. But of course there are a lot of different deliverables that were being executed and that we were working on with your team.
Mhm.
What are some of the things that you kind of had your hand in, and I guess were there sort of any insights you can share in terms of how those were delivered for Caltech and Integris?
Yeah, so a lot of the deliverables, especially during the rehaul of our website, it was going through and improving landing pages, and throughout our term, it was blog posts as well. So that when a task would be presented to us, it was made really easy and seamless to go through and approve of those. And like I was saying, it took a large part of our tasks off of our plate and made it really easy for us to handle those deliverables. And company wide, we saw a lot of our high value deliverables come from our leads that Jump Factor basically dropped right in our laps. They were bringing the bankers right to us instead of us having to go and hunt them down, which person wise was a morale boost for our sales team. It was made them a lot easy, made their tasks a lot easier instead of having to hunt them down, or it brought right to them. So they were excited to see that. And one of our highest deliverables, obviously, was our brand new website that was the problem child beforehand, but then got turned into a high value aspect that we are still using and seeing optimized being today. So that was bringing in qualified leads, bringing directly bankers directly to us. We did our optimization of the entire website, and the SEO performance went up drastically.
Wonderful. And yeah, you sort of touched on lead flow, and obviously earlier we kind of referred to the fact that ultimately MSPs are looking to see the end result from a financial perspective. So I know many different deals have been closed. Some of them obviously banking related, being in the focus area for Caltech and now Integris. But do you have any insights into the specific sort of outcomes from a revenue perspective that you can share in terms of what was generated for Caltech?
Yeah, so I would say the amount that we were able to close brought in directly from Jump Decker was about 78,000 in monthly recurring revenue, which turns into $4.3 million in revenue over the 5-year agreement. So basically pays for itself when you look at it that way.
Excellent. Yeah, and of course that was over a large portion of that. I understand came after the website
Yes.
was live, because there was a bit
Mhm.
of, as we kind of alluded to earlier, a bottleneck in terms of conversion and traffic initially. But
Mhm.
once the overhaul went into place, everything sort of kicked into place, and
Yeah.
we were able to see that come to fruition. In terms of one of the things a lot of our viewers like to get a sense of is when evaluating an agency or looking at some options from a marketing partner perspective,
Mhm.
what would you say are some things, just now based on the experience you have to date working with Jumpfactor, of things that you would recommend they look out for or try to validate before maybe finding a partner? Sort of like, you got to make sure they have this or they have that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Sort of watch outs, if we were to sort of highlight anything.
A big thing is I would say because all companies can talk the talk, but can they walk the walk? So Jump Factor always did a really good job of not only saying what they can do, but showing it to us. I would say making sure that your partner is actually able to deliver on what they're promising, which Jump Factor did, and being able to get along with your account team, be able to communicate freely and in a timely manner is a huge part in which I thought directly correlated to our success that we had.
Awesome. Yeah, and I see that when the site ramped up and it was live, there's had been a height of as high as 23 leads in a month. And then of course there's ebbs and flows. So some months are going to be
Mhm.
lower and some will be higher. Excellent. Well, I really appreciate your time, Casey. We thank you for taking your time to share some of your insights with our viewers here, and always a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you, Zamir. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.